The sound of shattering glass pierced the quiet restaurant, followed by a small voice saying, "I'm sorry, Daddy." Officer Melissa Carter froze mid-bite, her trained eyes darting to the source of the commotion. What she witnessed in the next few moments would change not just her life, but the lives of a struggling father and his daughter forever. Melissa Carter hadn't planned on dining at Rosetta's that evening. At 32, she was married to her job as a police officer in the small town of Millfield, where everyone knew everyone, or at least thought they did. Her mother, Eleanor, had insisted they have dinner together, concerned about Melissa's increasing isolation since her divorce 2 years ago. "You can't keep hiding behind that badge, sweetheart," Eleanor said, studying the menu while Melissa scanned the restaurant out of habit. "Life doesn't stop because one chapter ended badly." Melissa sighed. "Mom, I'm not hiding. I'm just focused on my career right now." Eleanor reached across the table and squeezed her daughter's hand. "There's more to life than work, Mel. Your father and I had the perfect marriage, I know," Melissa finished, a hint of bitterness in her voice. "Not everyone gets that lucky." Their conversation was interrupted by a young waiter approaching their table. He was tall and lean, with kind eyes that crinkled at the corners despite the exhaustion evident on his face. "Good evening, ladies. My name is Daniel, and I'll be taking care of you tonight. Can I start you off with something to drink?" There was something about his voice, gentle yet strong, that made Melissa look up from the menu. Their eyes met briefly, and she felt an unexpected flutter in her chest. She quickly dismissed it, attributing it to her mother's matchmaking talk making her overly aware. As Daniel took their drink orders, a small girl, no older than 6, peeked out from behind a nearby service station. She had her father's eyes and a mess of curly hair tied in uneven pigtails. "Lily," Daniel whispered, noticing his daughter. "I told you to stay in the break room with your coloring books." "But I finished all the pages, Daddy," the little girl replied, clutching a worn stuffed rabbit. Daniel's face softened with apology as he turned back to Melissa and Eleanor. "I'm so sorry about this. My babysitter canceled last minute, and my shift couldn't be covered." "It's no problem at all," Eleanor said warmly. "She's adorable." Melissa watched as Daniel knelt to his daughter's level, speaking in hushed tones. There was such tenderness in his interaction, such patience despite the obvious stress of juggling work and parenting alone. "5 more minutes of coloring, then we'll get ice cream on the way home, okay? Daddy just needs to finish his shift." The little girl nodded solemnly, then skipped back to the break room. Daniel straightened, composing himself before addressing them again. "I apologize for the interruption. I'll be right back with your drinks." As he walked away, Eleanor leaned forward. "Single dad. Handsome. Seems responsible." "Mom," Melissa warned. "Don't start." "What?" "I'm just making an observation." Throughout dinner, Melissa found herself watching Daniel. He moved efficiently between tables, always professional, but she noticed how he checked the break room door every few minutes. Once, when he thought no one was looking, he rubbed his eyes tiredly before plastering on a smile for the next table. Their meal was nearly finished when they heard the crash. A water glass had slipped from little Lily's hands as she tried to help her father clear a nearby table. The restaurant fell silent as the glass shattered across the tile floor. "I'm sorry, Daddy," Lily whispered, her bottom lip trembling. Daniel immediately knelt beside her, checking for cuts. "It's okay, sweetheart. Accidents happen. Are you hurt?" Lily shook her head, but tears welled in her eyes. "But now you'll get in trouble." Daniel gathered his daughter into his arms, oblivious to the watching customers. "No one's in trouble. It's just a glass." The restaurant manager appeared, his expression stern. "Daniel, we've talked about this. You can't have your daughter on the floor." "I know, sir. I'm sorry. The babysitter canceled, and I couldn't. This is the 3rd time this month." I'm trying to be understanding, but... Melissa surprised herself by standing up. "Excuse me," she said, her voice carrying the authority she used on duty. "I couldn't help overhearing. Perhaps I can help." The manager looked at her, noting her confident posture. "This is a staff matter, ma'am." "I understand," Melissa replied, reaching for her badge in her purse and discreetly showing it. "But I also understand what it's like to be in a difficult situation. The glass was an accident, and it seems like Daniel is doing his best under challenging circumstances." Eleanor joined her daughter. "My granddaughter is about this little one's age. I'd be happy to sit with her while her father finishes his shift." Daniel looked between them, a mix of gratitude and wariness in his eyes. "That's very kind, but you don't know us." "I'm Officer Melissa Carter," she said, extending her hand. "And this is my mother, Eleanor. We're just offering a little community support." The manager hesitated, then nodded curtly. "Clean this up, Daniel. And next time, find reliable childcare or don't come in." He walked away, leaving an uncomfortable silence. Daniel knelt to clean up the glass, his hands slightly shaking. Melissa grabbed some napkins and joined him. "You don't have to do that," he said quietly. "I want to," she replied. "Everyone needs help sometimes." As they worked, Lily watched with wide eyes. When they finished, she tugged on Melissa's sleeve. "Are you really a police officer? With a gun and everything?" Melissa smiled. "Yes, I am. But the most important part of my job isn't my gun, it's helping people." Eleanor had already settled at their table with a coloring book she'd retrieved from her purse. She always carried one for visits with her other grandchildren. "Lily, would you like to color with me while your daddy works? I'm terrible at staying in the lines. I could use your help." The little girl looked to her father for permission. Daniel hesitated, then nodded. "If you're sure it's no trouble." "None at all," Eleanor assured him. "We grandmothers always come prepared." As Daniel returned to his duties, Melissa noticed a new lightness in his step. When he came to refill their water glasses, he leaned down and whispered to Eleanor, "Thank you for this. You have no idea what it means to us." Eleanor patted his hand. "My husband passed away when Melissa was 10. I know what it's like to raise a child alone." Daniel's eyes widened slightly as he glanced at Melissa. "I'm sorry for your loss," he said to Eleanor, then turned to Melissa. "And thank you for stepping in with your manager. Most people would have just watched the show." "Most people haven't seen what I've seen on the job," Melissa replied. "Sometimes all it takes is one person willing to help." As the evening progressed, Melissa learned more about Daniel through brief conversations between his tables. He'd been raising Lily alone since his wife left them 3 years ago. He worked 2 jobs, waiting tables at night and as a mechanic during the day when Lily was at school. His dream was to open his own garage someday, but for now, every extra penny went into Lily's college fund. When it came time to pay the bill, Daniel refused to let them leave a tip. "You've already done more than enough," he insisted. Eleanor smiled mischievously. "Well, there is one way you could repay us." Daniel raised an eyebrow. "What's that?" "My daughter works too much. She could use a friend who understands the challenges of balancing work and personal life." "Mom!" Melissa protested, her cheeks flushing. Daniel laughed, a genuine sound that transformed his tired face. "I'm not sure I'm the best example of balance, but I do make a mean grilled cheese. Lily's favorite park has a picnic area." The invitation hung in the air between them. Melissa found herself nodding before she could overthink it. "I have Sunday off," she offered. As they exchanged numbers, Lily returned to her father's side, tugging on his apron. "Daddy, Miss Eleanor says she has grandkids but no granddaughter who lives close by. Can she be my pretend grandma sometimes?" Daniel looked embarrassed, but Eleanor beamed. "I would be honored, Lily. As they prepared to leave, Daniel helped Eleanor with her coat. "You know," he said softly, "when I saw you two come in tonight, I never imagined, you just stole my heart with your kindness." Eleanor winked at him. "That's what family does, dear. And something tells me you might be family someday." Outside in the cool evening air, Melissa turned to her mother. "You're incorrigible, you know that?" Eleanor linked her arm through her daughter's. "I'm observant. That young man has been carrying too much on his shoulders for too long. And you, my dear, have been hiding behind your badge instead of living. Sometimes the universe puts people in our path for a reason." Melissa thought about Daniel's tired eyes and gentle hands, about little Lily's uneven pigtails and brave smile. For the first time in years, she felt something stir within her, not just attraction, but a sense of possibility. "Maybe you're right, Mom," she admitted. "Maybe it's time I started living again." 3 years later, Officer Melissa Carter stood in the back of a small chapel, watching as her mother helped Lily adjust the flower crown in her hair. The little girl, now 9, was taking her role as flower girl very seriously. "Do you think Daddy is nervous?" Lily asked, smoothing her dress for the 10th time. Melissa smiled. "Probably. I know I am." Eleanor tucked a stray curl behind Lily's ear. "That's how you know it matters, sweetheart." The music began, signaling it was time. As Lily walked down the aisle, scattering rose petals with careful precision, Melissa took a deep breath. Her father might not be here to walk her down the aisle, but she knew he would have approved of the family she was about to join. Daniel waited at the altar, his eyes finding hers the moment she appeared. The love in his gaze made her heart swell. This man who had worked so hard, loved so deeply, and never given up despite the challenges life had thrown at him, he was about to become her husband. As she reached him, Daniel took her hands in his. "You stole my heart that night at the restaurant," he whispered. "And I've been thankful every day since." Melissa squeezed his hands. "We saved each other," she replied. "And now we get to build something beautiful together." Lily wiggled between them, looking up with hopeful eyes. "As a family," she added. Daniel lifted his daughter into his arms, and together with Melissa, they turned to face the minister, 3 hearts that had found each other through a simple act of kindness on an ordinary night that had turned out to be the beginning of something extraordinary. Life doesn't always follow the path we expect. Sometimes it takes a detour through heartbreak and struggle before leading us to where we're meant to be. For Melissa, Daniel, and Lily, that detour led them to each other, proof that second chances at love and family can appear when we least expect them, often disguised as a broken glass, a cancelled babysitter, or a mother's persistent belief that her daughter deserves happiness. Remember, the most beautiful stories often begin in the most ordinary moments. All it takes is the courage to see beyond our own struggles and reach out to someone else in need. If this story touched your heart, please like and subscribe for more reminders that love finds a way, even in the most unexpected circumstances. Share this video with someone who might need a reminder that their own love story could be just beginning.